Take two.
Take two.
Should we stand and say the pledge? Just kidding. So today we're going to be opening the time capsule. And it was sealed in 1991. And it just so happens that John Shoy and I happened to be in the building in 1991 when it was built. We walked down the hall, we're able to pick our classrooms, the lockers weren't even in, it's just being sheetrocked. And we're picking out our classrooms right after we're hired together. And the story goes, when the building opened, this box, this time capsule was created in kind of in memory, the same way you guys are doing your graduation time capsules. So all of a sudden we get this box, and I watched it sit there for years and years, and it was in the very back room, and I always looked at it when I made copies, and I looked at it and looked at it, and then decided to open it because I have a personal connection to that, and Mr. John Shoy does. So what we decided to do is we're going to open it today. As you guys are looking at your individual time capsules, we're going to open this up. But yesterday, Mr. Schmidbauer walks in and finds this plaque on the bottom of it. I've never looked at the bottom of that thing. And here's what it says. Pioneer Elementary Time Capsule, dedicated December of 1991, to be open 25 years, donated by Brenny Funeral Home of Pierce. We're 5 years late.
Uh-oh.
But that creates even more meaning because John Shoy and I, in 5 days, we leave this building, but we have a connection to this, so we're going to open this today.
And for the life of me, I can't think of one thing that is even in there. I can't remember what we even put in there.
And the funny thing is, you guys, Kennedy, we tested her today when she opened up her time capsule. Many of you couldn't even remember what was in there, and you sealed it up 9 months ago, 8 months ago. So today, we open up this time capsule, and I'd let Sawyer pick it up, but I don't think he can. So Sawyer will attest he's lifted it, right, Sawyer?
No.
Come on. John Shoy, you watch that side in case he drops it. No, you don't drop that. How heavy, you think? I mean, heavier than any turkey you've ever shot.
I never shot turkey.
Correct. All right.
That's why he said it.
So, we're gonna open this, and I didn't remember to bring something to open it. So we're going to open this up,
Like Christmas.
just like Christmas.
A
Yeah, but
30-year-old
present
present.
that took forever to deliver.
A 30-year-old present.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like
it's
shopping on
interesting,
Amazon.
George, you say that, because you always have a good insight to things, and it is. This is like a present that has been forgotten. And I have no idea what's in it. All right, so as we're doing this, we can realize how old this is. Heidi, what were you doing 30 years ago?
Oh boy,
Playing hopscotch and
What grade were you in?
I was 11.
Was that when you and I were in the spelling bee picture? How many of you have seen the spelling bee picture of Heidi and I?
Was that the year, Heidi? Was it really?
Good.
It was the first year Holy Trinity came together.
Maybe that picture's in here.
I have that picture on my time capsule.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Mr. Audi, what were you doing 30 years ago?
Oh, man.
I was graduating from high school.
So it just goes to show you
The time.
30 years. It's a long time. Here it is. I think I'm on the last round.
Do we need like a screwdriver or anything?
Well, this thing has definitely been set, meaning the tape.
Only 30 years.
So, we have people at home watching this, and they're probably saying, open it up. But they're also doing this. Where was I 30 years ago? And that's part of the question that's the reason I asked that question.
You're teaching.
But George, I'm referring to the people at home waiting for me to open this, because as you grow older, you start to think about all the details and things you've done. So more than likely, people at home are thinking the same thing. What was I doing? Where was I?
Well, it's not like it's like a
Where's the box cutter? Oh,
Not yet.
So,
Broke everything.
today we open this. So, here's what we have.
That'd be a dead dog. That was a dog.
The air
Wrong one. Exactly.
is different.
That's not.
And Riley, if you want to slide back on my stool so you can see, I don't want to be in anybody's, Isabel, if you want to slide over, I don't want to be in anybody's way. Oh, and if you want to stand up, I'm fine with that. Dharma, if you want to stand up. So the first thing I saw when I cracked the cover was this. Just some, I don't know what it is. I think things have been in here so long, they almost, yeah. So here's what we have. It says, and you guys will all be able to check this out after this, and we'll let the people at home see, but here's what it is. The groundbreaking picture for Pioneer Elementary back in 1991. And it's funny because I see some people I know in there, and they did a huge dance commemorating the opening of Pioneer Elementary. There's flags, there's the whole thing. This says, it's a newspaper article, and I don't know what it is. All I see is that there's something about George W. Bush Sr. And then there's something from the student council. If you're in the student council, raise your hand here. There's something from the student council, and there's a receipt. Oh, I remember this. The Oklahoma City bombing happened then. In Oklahoma City. Mr. Adi, you remember that?
Yes, I do.
The Oklahoma City bombing, there was a terrorist, and he was homegrown terrorist, meaning somebody from the United States. And he drove a truck bomb and basically had the bomb blew up the Oklahoma City building, the government building, and killed a lot of people. And the Piers School student council donated. And they donated $397.71 to that. This says, Miss Shrout's second grade, 1991-92. And this is a bunch of drawings. We might have people in this room right here, their parents drew something. If so, it would be neat for those people to get that somehow.
Exactly.
But I think what we need to do is maybe, Mr. Adi, we want to display some of these items in a display case for a while. Mrs. Brink's second grade classroom. John Choi, you just talked to Mrs. Brink's.
I just saw her probably 2 days ago. No, it was last weekend at Home Depot. I just talked to her.
Here is a question, and this describes the Pierce School District in 1991. It tells all how many people, and it tells all the demographic information, the information about people in
Video?
VCR.
video.
We need to play that. Why? watch it.
I can find one of these. We need to watch this.
I got it all set up.
Yeah, he does.
Well, maybe not.
We
today.
can't watch this today, but we could easily watch it tomorrow.
Yes.
Hey, what is it?
Please.
It says Pioneer Elementary Dedication Ceremony, December 1st, 1991.
We should watch it
We
tomorrow.
will watch it.
Was there internet 30 years ago?
Yeah.
No.
No. There was probably not even
Miss Bauman's second grade class, there are pictures in here. Some of your people, some of your parents, aunts, uncles, they are in there.
Homecoming button?
Interesting. Happy 10th anniversary Pioneer Elementary.
What the, huh? Why is that?
I have no
How could
idea.
that even get in there? Maybe something.
Oh, where, Mr. Oak?
Yes. I remember this. Yes for kids. This was a big deal. Do we build that school? There used to be a school in Buckman. There used to be one in Lastrop by Ava's
Harding.
place. There used to be one in Harding. This
Yeah.
created this school. This was the slogan, yes for kids. We have, a bunch of stuff. I just saw this. Kennedy was talking about her dad. This could be your dad. Very well could be. And I'm looking for a last name. And it's interesting because it has a phone number, and it would be interesting to see if this is your dad's phone number, 2429, when there was still a phone hanging on the wall. These things are all from the kids, and he could have been in like first or second grade when this took place. This thing here, that was from Mrs. Gray's class. And Kennedy, you might want to ask about that. This thing, 30 years later, the rubber band is a little deteriorated. We have more. This is from Miss Jansen's first grade class. You remember her? Danny Fisher. I remember Danny. Nicolette Weber. Ben Durheim.
And it's funny, are they ready about Thanksgiving?
They're drawing for their journals. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Nicole Meyer. That would be Lisa Meyer's daughter in the office. Mark Pepping. Josh Wagner. Shauna Held. Carrie Block. And I'm doing this because we have many people watching this, and some people are hearing their names. Carly.
Block?
Monica?
Larson.
No, it would be Miss Gray's daughter.
No, Larson.
Adrienne Welly. We could go on, but these things, these are what makes a time capsule. As I was reading those, I almost couldn't stop because I started thinking about all of this. Those names I just read, those are the ones I recognize. And I've told all of you this. How do you want to be remembered? Every single name that I just read, I remember them. They instantly popped into my head. You have 4 to 5 days. You need to think, how do you want to be remembered? It's very important. So I'm taking a look at the next thing. I remember these. You remember these, John Shoy?
Yeah.
These were the class photos, and they made basically placemats out of these. And it's interesting because when I look at the back, the first one pops into my head. It was one of my old students that was killed in a car accident.
Aww.
His name is Mark Cheetah. I know his dad, Paul, well. His dad was the sheriff in town for a while. I'm looking at these, and I'm thinking, Kim Polkamp, your aunt. She's in this picture. I'm looking at Katie Ottman, your mom, AP. Wade Swazer, where's Dylan?
Next class.
There's a lot of names that I recognize on here. Yes, and the names are all on here, and we can definitely look at that. Here's another one, and it says, Miss Jansen's class. Hi, my name is Lucas Fighton. This goes with this, I believe. We need to keep these things together. On the back, this was Carly Wolf.
Oh, sure.
That was it. I'm looking for a name that would be tied to this room. Remember Margot Sheeler? All right, Ava, you were just over at Dave Fisher's place, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever met Danny, his son?
Yeah, I think so.
He's in here. Craig Capsner. Anybody know him? He's in construction right now. Just received a wedding invite from him last night. Interesting. Literally, just last night I received the wedding invite. Heidi the Is. Her name was Tice. John Schway always used to give her a bad name, a bad time because her name was The Is. That's how you spell Tice. This is from Andy Lightfall. Does anybody know Andy Lightfall? His name appeared on this. So as I'm looking at this, holy cow, we have a lot of people. Some of these names, there's many you may recognize. Amanda Jutton. I wonder if it's related to Andrew anyhow.
Probably.
Miss Samuel's class. And then we're going grade by grade. This is interesting because it says Mr. John Shoy's class. We'll get to that. This is kindergarten. Wow. Mark Bew, Adam Thomas, Melissa Faust, Jacob Meyer. They were in kindergarten in 1991. Pretty cool. And this is John Choice. Oh my gosh. 11/26, 1991. It's yours.
I don't know. I can't remember what we put in here.
No.
Well, they wrote letters.
Hang on.
Andy Smoody.
Yeah.
I think they wrote if they could be anyone one day, what they would wanna do.
So here's what you're seeing. You're probably seeing this on my face and John Shoy's own. You're probably seeing memories. That's what your time capsule needs to bring. In 6 years, you guys are going to be locked in the gym and you're gonna have your graduation ceremony and a lock-in. And when you're there, this is what you guys should be doing. Don't, Evan, don't, Gabe, don't take this lightly. Think about what you wanna put in there.
Eric Schmidbauer, Mr. Schmidbauer's brother.
Yeah.
Kara Prisbilla. Yeah, so it'd be fun if we could get these back to these people.
I think we need to display these somehow, some way, so that people can see this. This envelope, November 26, 1991.
Mr. Holbrook.
What's funny is I actually remember writing that. It's totally me, I remember writing it. So here's what we got. As I open this, I kind of did the same thing. Tammy Pulak,
What they wanted to do.
just saw her mowing the lawn 2 days ago. Her first line, I would want to go shopping at the new Walmart. Well, it must have opened up in 1991, you guys. Joey Harold, Chad Polkamp. Want to hear what your dad wrote? Huh. If I could do what I wanted for one day, I would. I would want to see what I'd be like in the future. I'm reading what his dad wrote 30 years ago. If all my friends would be here. Uh-oh. My favorite teacher did like to know if something would happen to the time capsule. There it is. It's actually what he wrote. Best friends. You ready? Eric Walczewski, still buddies? Eric Schmidtbauer. Ryan Solinger. Where's Brando? It's your daddy. Robert Wilson. Aaron Storkamp. Mitchell Brinks. Mike Thielen. Joe Thielen. Charlie Poster, we just talked about him yesterday. Corey Anderson. Carly Watercott. Class of '98 rules. Yes, it does. So, we're going over all of this, and these are all letters from people that were in my class. Yeah, and they put on there certain things that meant something to them. So this is all from my homeroom 30 years ago, Mr. Lauer's homeroom. And it looks like he put together a whole book. And it's got a bunch of last names, and he included a ton of things. This is Travis Wojtaszek, Melissa Sheeler, Jason Rakuskas. This is kind of a cool thing. We have another one. Jason Bozer. Sound familiar, Kennedy? So this has Kennedy's dad on it. And it's pretty easy to pick him out because he starts with a B. So she probably wants to look at that. And then Miss Deering's class.
Who's that?
Exactly.
Mrs. Gruber.
Uh-huh.
Her name changed from Deering to Gruber. This is from her class. I look at the back. Kristen Jansen. I actually thought of this lady the other day. None of you and nobody in this building knows this lady except I think you and I and Mrs. Gruber. She was a 5th grade teacher. Her name is Marlis Borchard. This lady, not even Chase would mess with her. She was probably 65, 68 years old, and she was a black belt in karate. She was a machine. And that's what pops in my head. Mrs. Kretschmar, hopefully she's watching this. And there's a lot of names in here. Nicole Creek pops right into this one. Can you guys move that down, please? Mr. Lickey's room, we talked about him this morning. A lot of people on here, and hopefully we thought ahead because we wrote all the names on the back. And I'm just separating these all out. And this was from Mrs. Rube. Mrs. Rube, I actually saw her on the golf course last year from way across the way, and I thought, I know that person. She went and taught in Sartell, and at that time I remember this. I was young, still am.
Is she still teaching?
She's still teaching, and I remember that she painted her desk the ugliest color pink possible, and as a joke, I got a hold of the custodian down at Sartell, and I hauled her desk down and put it in her new room down in Sartell. She didn't think it was very funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it definitely was funny.
Mrs. Thien,
What?
I
It
drove
would be
past
funny.
her son's house this morning, and I think of her quite often. She was a third grade teacher here at Pioneer. And then we have this. 5th grade. I'm looking at all of the pictures, and it's funny because you all remember all my pictures up there, but I'm looking at this, and here is my class. And it's interesting because I see the faces and I remember their personalities. It's all how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to remember your 6th grade year? That's why we're doing these time capsules. I remember this. The dedication from the building.
Isn't it,
This is what's engraved in the wall in the very front of the school. And there was a huge open house. It says the Board of Education, Independent School District, the dedication of the new school. And then this thing here, it shows the whole layout of Pioneer Elementary, but then it talks about this: Superintendent Ryan Yop, Principal Galen Swoboda, Board of Education. And it talked about everybody that helped the school that helped it to be built. All the names on the back, Mr. John Choi would recognize, and this is why we're doing this. This is why we do time capsules. So all of this, we're gonna pack up, and then all of a sudden, it'll lead into this. Take a look at my screen.